Armada's TST, they brought it out last year. This is what they think is kind of the future of skiing. I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it last year. I've been on it this year and I got it a bit more. Chirgl.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It does take a few runs to get used to. I guess the contact point, like with the JJ, Armada's always had, since the JJ, this really aggressively short contact point. So none of this is actually on the snow until you're in powder, unless you're really railing on the piste. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to that, but then I find it really nimble. This is a 193, I think? 193 or 195. And it, once you get used to that dimension, it's really, it's pretty snappy, pretty stable.
You got to ski it fast?
No, not necessarily. I found it pretty useful in shorter turns. But just a note, Armada is releasing certain models with less of an aggressive side cut. Some of these have almost a slalom side cut on skis this big, so maybe that's where that confusion comes, because you look down and it looks like you're on a huge, you know, burly ski, and it's turning like it's a lot shorter. So maybe it's easy to get sort of confused by that, or I find I do. But Armada is going to be releasing ones with mellower side cuts, so they won't feel so twitchy and so weird. And there's one called, not that this feels twitchy and weird, but it does initially when you're on it. But there's one called the JJ Magic. I think it's Tanner Hole inspired, and there's another version of this that is going to be a little more balanced throughout. Yeah. But I definitely recommend, if you don't like it immediately, then it pays dividends if you give it some time.
I tell you what, we've had skis like this a long time before. You get things like the even the Vocal Mantra, which is a brilliant ski. The first few runs on it,
yeah,
you go, you know what? Am I just not doing this? And suddenly they click, and they're sort of a ski for a couple of seasons, aren't they? They're like something a ski you actually want to own. There's a giant surprise to something you got to buy. Okay.
And last thing just to say here, that differentiates it from the JJ. And the JJ's, I think that it's done really well for Armada. Everyone's just loving it. But something that bothered me about it was the extent of the tail rocker on the JJ. And you only really need that if you're skiing backwards often in powder. The TST, the Travis Steger model, actually does away with that, and it has a nice flatter or regular camber tail profile. So you do get some power back there as well, and it's not just washing out on you on the turns. So, yeah.
One to watch.
One to watch.